was full of troubles that affected both the physical bodies and the mind. For starters, we know that a large majority of soldiers during World War I were men. This is shown when we see the poster that states, Women of Britain say go. This poster is used by the British government to encourage men to join the war because their wives or mothers thought they should. We also know that the war was fought in trenches. This is seen through the picture of the dead German soldier where there is a tunnel into the trench. It is also very muddy and dirty. This is portrayed in the poem Suicide in the Trenches by Siegfried Sassoon. It is stated that the trenches have crumbs, lice, and lack of rum. This verse implies that the trenches were constantly bombarded by enemy artillery, full of disease, and didn't bring joy to the soldiers. The poem also states that the soldier shot himself, which implies that the soldiers on the front in the trenches weren't happy and were in fact suffering. We also know that many enemy soldiers on both sides were taken as prisoners. When dispatching about an attack on Messines Ridge, a telegraph stated that they captured over 5,000 German soldiers. We know that the trenches and battle lines were constantly moving. This is visible when we look at the front lines from August to September of 1914. They are constantly changing during this time, which means that the soldiers were constantly moving. We also know that the dead sometimes cannot be retrieved and buried, which means that the bodies piled up and decompose, sometimes right next to soldiers. We see a first-hand account of this in Robert Graves' account of Lance Corporal Baxter. The bodies would pile up and change into a variety of colors. The account of Baxter also allows us to understand that many soldiers were heroes during World War I, even throughout the challenges. So although World War I was a difficult time to be a soldier, many soldiers still pushed through for their country and for their families.